Hey friends, hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Myself Neha. I'm an accounting trainer, blogger and blogger. The name of my YouTube channel is Let's Talk About Accounting. In this channel, you will get to know all about accounting concept, accounting terms, knowledge about Tally ERP9, Tally Prime, then GST e-filing as well as income tax e-filing. Okay, so as I'm making videos on accounting terms and concept also, so our today's video is based on same. Okay, our today's video is what is the meaning of provisions? A very important term and very important concept as at the year end or at the close of your books. Okay, you're supposed to make the provision entry. How to make the provision entry in Tally I have already explained in my previous video. Okay, so in today's video I would like to elaborate more about what is the meaning of provisions. Okay friends, now let's start. What is the meaning of provisions? Provision in accounting are an amount set aside to cover a probable future expense or reduction in the value of an asset. Okay, so provision is nothing but whatever expenses which is belonging to a current financial year, but the payment which will be making in next financial year, that amount or that expense you have to set aside and you have to realize in profit and loss account for current financial year, and that amount is known as provisions. Okay, again I will explain you that provisions in accounting are an amount set aside to cover a probable future expense or reduction in the value of an asset. Okay, so whatever payments like electricity or telephone bill which are accruing for the month of March, but the payment you are making in the month of April, that is next financial year, so that particular amount you have to set aside, you have to realize in your profit and loss account as it is belonging to current financial year, and that amount which you will be making future which you will be paying in future, that amount is known as provisions. Okay, so example of provisions include accruals, asset impairments. Yes, asset impairments are also provisions only because we don't know that when our asset will get impaired. Okay, then bad debts, again unpredictable, depreciation, doubtful debts, guarantees, income tax, inventory obsolescence, pension, restructuring liabilities and sales allowance. So how you have to make the provision entry in accounting? As I have given you the example that the electricity bill or the telephone bill which is accruing for the month of March, but the payment will be made in next financial year, that is in April. So that entry or that amount you have to set aside and you have to realize in profit and loss account. So how you will make the entry for that particular expense? You have to debit the expense. Okay, so it will get realized in profit and loss account, and the payment which we are not making as on 31st March, but we are making on next financial year. So you have to credit the provision account at this time. Okay, in current financial year you have to credit the provision account as physically you are not paying anything in this current financial year. And while making the payment in next financial year, suppose on 5th April you are making the payment for electricity bill, then you have to debit the provision account and credit the cash or bank account. Okay, so there will be no effect to expense account. So the expense which was belonging to current financial year will be realized in the current financial year only. Okay, so often provision amounts need to be estimated. Yes, that is again a estimated value only. You can't predict that how much will be the salaries, how much will be the income tax expense, but you can predict it. Okay, so you can estimate it. In financial reporting, provisions are recorded as a current liability on the balance sheet and then matched to appropriate expense account on the income statement. Okay, so debit you are giving to the income statement, and the provision which you are creating or the credit side, okay, the provision entry you're crediting, that will be your current liability. Okay, so this was all about provisions. I hope I have cleared your doubts regarding provision. I have also explained you that how you have to make the provision entry. Okay, so provision entry, you have to debit the expense and you have to credit the expense payable or the provision. Okay, so if I take the example of telephone bill or the expense which you are supposed to make. Okay, so telephone and mobile expense account debit to telephone and mobile expense payable account. Okay, so you have to credit or increase the current liability by crediting the provision account. And in next financial year, when you will be making the payment, you have to debit telephone and mobile expense payable account, because physically you don't have to make any realization in your income statement. Okay friends, so this was about what is provision in accounting terms. If you have liked my video, do like it, comment it and share it. Do subscribe my YouTube channel for more accounting related videos. Thank you so much. Keep supporting.